Banksy, in Wall of Pieces, once rightly remarked, a lot of people never actually use their initiative because no one told them to. Now, before I go on to discuss the topic which my talk is all about, I want to ask a very simple question from each one of you. And I want you all to answer simply by the show of your hands, okay? So, my question is something like this. How many of you feel that we all collectively are doing all that we possibly can for the sustainable development of this world? Just raise your hands if you agree with me. Okay, not many hands have been raised, I see. All right, no problem. Now, allow me to rephrase this question just a little bit. How many of you feel that we can do more, much more than what we are already doing for the sustainable development of this world? Now I see a more unanimous and greater sense of agreement amongst you all. Here's the reason why I asked these basic questions before going on to the discussion of the topic of my talk. Today, we live in a world which is much different, far different from the world that we all lived in just a decade ago. Everything is changing so fast, at such an unprecedented rate. Even our societies and cultures that we all are a part of are evolving and growing every day. We are envisioning a sustainably developed future for our future generations. But we should also remember that in order to achieve that vision of ours, we cannot completely depend upon the ideologies or methodologies of the past. Today, we might say that every year, due to global warming, 400 billion tons of ice melts. We might also say that because of deforestation, every year, 15.3 billion trees are chopped down. We may or may not have a solution for these kind of issues right now. But what about the fact that issues like global warming or deforestation or such activities are only going to get much worse in the near future? What about the fact that yes, we should be doing our level best in order to tackle these concerns right now? But shouldn't we be preparing ourselves in advance about how the conditions of this world will be, especially in the near future? According to me, from what I have seen and experienced, we need those leaders, innovators, initiators, and starters who have a far sight, who are proactive enough to understand and comprehend the rates at which globalizations or modernizations all around the world are taking place. We need those people who are willing to be creative and innovative while working upon the much needed solutions for the problems of today. I also feel that we need those initiators who are willing to come up with and contribute fresh ideas. Ideas that have not been tried before, but can in fact make this world much better than it already is. Especially in the scenarios as I have talked about earlier, we do need those initiators and individuals whose gears are always turning in their mind, and who are constantly thinking of ways of advancing their own selves, and while at the same time also making effectual contributions to this world and the society that they are a part of. According to me, these individuals, as I have talked about earlier, can in fact be called self-starters. But who exactly is a self-starter? Like, it is very easy for me to call a person very creative and innovative and say that this person will contribute a lot to this world that we all are a part of. But how do we become like them? Or how do we exactly find these people that I'm talking about? Well, here's the truth, my friends. Anyone, I repeat, anyone can be a self-starter. It is not a classification of any special kind or special race of human beings. It is, in fact, a way of living and practically thinking and acting in this ever-growing world of ours, where you are not afraid of taking that first step on your own. And you do not depend on any other person for your creativity and your initiatives to bloom. A self-starter, from what I have seen, do exhibit the traits and aspects of the personalities of a true and efficient leader. And leaders, too, are in general self-starters. A true and efficient leader understands when he or she actually needs to take up an initiative, or when they need to learn and to grow along with this ever-growing world of ours. They also know that when they need to lead their own people, their own community, and their own society on the same road of advancement, the same path of growth and development. If I say that I am, or let's say you are, a self-starter, then it means that we will never shy away from starting something very creative or something very different from what has been done so far, especially based on the requirements of the world of today and the necessity and needs of the world of tomorrow that we can possibly think of. It means that we will not always depend on somebody else for creating something revolutionizing, or even depend on another person to encourage us to take that first step regarding our own dream initiative or our own dream plan. It means that we, with the help of sane logics and practical reasonings, will put in our creative efforts and our psychological strength in taking that first step no matter the odds. We will do whatever we can for the initiative that we want to take. Another great aspect of a self-starter's personality is that they are risk takers. They never shy away from taking calculated and much understood risks. They understand that even their highly innovative initiative might take a wrong turn, or even turn out to be a complete failure. Yet, they don't give up. They initiate their plan and then they take full responsibility of it. Think about it. The scientists of ISRO, before starting to work day and night tirelessly on a mission as big as Chandrayaan-2, understood very well the risks that they were taking. They knew that there were chances equally of both success and failure. Yet, they did not give up or back out just because of those probabilities of either success or failure. They worked hard. They initiated, innovated, and created something which is still unimaginably big for most of us. With that kind of ideology or thinking process or psychological strength, I should call it, one surely becomes a risk taker, but also a game changer, wouldn't you say? It has been wonderfully quoted by an amazing author, Jack Canfield, who said, "Don't worry about failures in your life. Worry about the chances you miss when you don't even try." Now, before I go on, I want to cite a very simple example, a name that I feel is known by all of you present over here. And this single name will clear out all your doubts and all your confusions about how a self-starter with this kind of self-drive and self-motivation can contribute a great deal to this world of ours, or especially towards the sustainable development of this world of ours. And that name, my friends, is of none other than Elon Musk. The person behind ventures as globally and internationally renowned as SpaceX and Tesla was in fact once just a self-programmer. When he was 12, he self-wrote and self-programmed a game called Blasters and sold it for just $500. In 1995, Elon started, along with his brother, Zip2, which he himself coded it later on. In 1999, Elon Musk started his own online bank called X.com. And for that, for taking that first step, he had invested his own money, his own, you can say, savings at that time. Now, I was not trying to narrate a history lesson about what all he has done so far or what all he is doing right now. I was trying to draw out a pattern over here, which I hope you all must have understood by now. You all see that in these ventures, as we are talking about, Elon was just thinking about one thing. He was not afraid of whether he had that kind of encouragement from the people around him or not. He did not think about whether his plans or initiatives were inconvenient for the world or not. Rather, he had faith on his own self-motivation and self-passion and self-faith for the initiative that he had in hand. And that kind of push from within is what really pushes you further in this game. Last year, when I was just 16 years old, I, Yash Tiwari, authored my now internationally acclaimed debut novel called A Celebration in Tribulation. This novel is in fact centered around the unheard and unspoken Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. The primary reason why I started writing this novel was not because every day there was a person who was compelling me to write a novel or was saying that, Yash, you are good at writing, so you should write a novel. It was not like that every day. And obviously it cannot be like that, right? The primary reason why I started writing that very first page of my debut novel was because I had that self-drive within me to start a conversation about this unheard and unspoken disease. Because I wanted to spread awareness about it as much as I can through my initiative or through my first step in this field, while also pursuing my passions through my creativity or innovation. At the same time, I also wanted to contribute towards this world that I'm a part of. And that is when I understood that when you do something out of your own self-drive, your own self-push, your self-motivation, that is when you actually create something very beautiful that will have a positive impact, not just on you, but also on the people around you, the world around you. Now, we have talked a lot about how a self-starter can contribute a great deal to this world that we are a part of, or can contribute a lot towards the sustainable development of this world. But let us also illuminate certain ways through which one can truly be a self-starter, or through which all of us can also make our share of contribution towards this world that we hold some responsibility for. Firstly and foremostly, remember that you are supposed to analyze and assess the structure, the system, and culture of the society that you are a part of, this ever-growing world that you are living in right now. Based on that, take initiatives accordingly. Secondly, always remember that no matter whether you have any kind of encouragement or support from the external world or not, you are still supposed to take that first step. You are still supposed to initiate that amazing and noteworthy plan which you have in mind. Because, trust me, one day or the other, it will truly show its fruit. It will truly show its benefit in this world and also in your own life journey. Because being a self-starter, by definition, means that you will take that first step, no matter how support you have from someone or don't have from anyone. Thirdly, have that go-getter attitude in yourself. What I have seen in my own life is that when you have that kind of go-getter attitude to achieve whatever you want, or you are ready to work tirelessly for whatever you want, you will also develop the kind of self-drive, that self-push and self-motivation which is required to work tirelessly, which is required to work as hard as you can on this initiative which you have in mind or this plan which you have in hand. And that kind of push is truly very much beneficial in initiating something and taking it ahead. Lastly, and most importantly, I should say, accept challenges with open hands. Never be afraid of the fact that starting something new or taking that first step seems very overwhelming or seems very challenging to you, especially in the current scenarios or the situation that you are in. Always remember that if and when you take that first step, sooner or later, in the long run or even in the near future, you will see it blooming. You will see its benefit, for sure. And with that kind of ideology, with that kind of mindset, you can truly shake mountains if you want. I believe that all of us are very creative, although we are differently creative, but very creative. We have our own creativities, we have our own strengths, we have our own positive aspects. All we need to do is that we need to understand our caliber. We need to understand our capacities and capabilities. And remember that we are capable enough of taking that first step. No matter how big our dream venture might seem to the world around us, or might sound unconventional to the people around us. But still, we are capable enough to take that first step. To conclude, all I'd like to say is something which was once amazingly quoted by the former President of the United States, Mr. Barack Obama. The best way to not feel hopeless is to get up and do something. Don't worry about the fact that things are not good. And don't wait for good things to happen to you. Just get up, go out, and make good things happen. You will fill this world with hope, and you will fill yourself with hope. Thank you.